Redditors, how do you feel a grassroots political movement dedicated solely towards ruining Elon Musk's life specifically would fare? Story 1 probably get called terrorism and crack down up on hard. Conservatives would cheer as this happens, and then they'd threaten any judge that tries to do anything about it, or outright defy any judge that tries to do anything about it. Story 2 Elon Musk is a symptom. Donald Trump is a symptom. You'll treat the symptoms and not the causes. These people want to blame everything else for the problems we have today. They'll blame foreigners, blame immigrants, blame waste, fraud, corruption, and everything else they can find other than themselves. Are these real issues? Sure, maybe. But they're not the cause of wealth inequality and our current insanity. These are all excuses, misdirection, and distraction. We need to tax the rich. Billionaires are taking everything and leaving you with nothing, and they'll do everything in their power to create a circus atmosphere that keeps you distracted and heading toward poverty. That's the problem. Tax wealth, not work. Story 3 It's Reddit, so I'm sure most here would obviously support. In general, I think most people would prefer a grassroots movement that aims to improve people's lives rather than obsess over one person. Story 4 Can we just go back to being for issues instead against things? This hate and divisiveness is out of hand. People need to understand we have a lot more in common than what separates us. United we can do a whole lot more and stop the oligarchy. We just have to show how it will actually improve their lives. Story 5 Based on current events in the grand scheme of things, not very well as it stands. The people most adamantly against Musk seem to be more fixated on harassing individuals who own Teslas and getting themselves charges, rather than actually taking political action such as challenging his actions in court. It's writing to the SEC about the fraud he's been committing for years regarding stock evaluation. Story 6 We need to focus on movements to better the lives of our citizens, not to destroy the lives of others. If bettering our lives means the abolition of billionaires, then so be it. Story 7 I'd rather spend my effort taxing all billionaires and providing healthcare to everyone instead of purposely trying to ruin one man's life, even if he isn't. Story 8 is destroying property grassroots. Either way, it's pointless and moronic. It will do nothing but turn people against you and make more and more people hate you for being moronic losers throwing temper tantrums. But go ahead and keep doubling down on bullshit that doesn't work, I guess. Story 9 I've been on Reddit since 2012. It really blows my mind how Reddit has done a complete 180 on Musk. Literally 10 years ago this whole site was having the biggest off and nut over him. They were going crazy for Tesla, saying it's good for the environment, that SpaceX was going to go to Mars in a few years, like a few years after 2015, that the Boring Company was going to revolutionize the world. Now those same people hate him, burn his cars and charging stations, which is terrible for the environment, and just hope the worst. I'm not going to say I like or hate the dude, but it's wild, and the fact that this site goes hard pro-autism like support but then makes fun of him for being autistic is sad. Story 10 Sorry, but the idea that a bunch of Redditors are going to ruin Elon Musk's life is utterly pathetic and laughably delusional. What are we going to do? Say mean things about him? Like half the planet does that already. There is nothing Reddit can do to him that he hasn't already done to himself. Need I remind you that Reddit Inc. is a publicly traded company? If Musk really wanted to, he could buy Reddit and there's nothing anyone could do to stop it. Reddit is valued at $23 billion. That's actually pocket change to Elmo. So no, you cannot ruin Elon Musk's life, but he absolutely could ruin ours by buying Reddit, banning every single supermod and putting his flunkies in charge. He won't, because he doesn't give a flying what we think. Story 11 Funny, that as we enter this Passover season, you take a man that was once considered the second coming of Christ because his electric car was going to save the planet by ending fossil fuels, and now you want to crucify him. Story 12 It would be very effective in achieving nothing and taking the wind out of the sails of actual projects that can improve American lives. I swear the people that are anti-Trump and Musk are just as delusional in their thinking as the fans. Story 13 Imagine being so petty and small, being obsessed about somebody who doesn't even know your name. IDGF about politics or the news, so don't bother assuming. I just wish people would get a life. Story 14 Why would you want to do that to another human being simply because you disagree with him? Where is your tolerance and compassion for other beliefs and people? Story 15 A political movement based around ruining someone would be toxic as, make a political movement about doing things better than him and run for office. America is burning, and it's in large part because of how many people think that you solve problems by tearing things down instead of simply doing things better. Story 16 Weirdos sounds like a typical brain-dead Redditor take. You're either 13 years old or have never had any sort of social exposure beyond the internet in your entire life. Story 17 Democrat Party is no longer political. It's a pathology. This is an example of why the Democrat Party is at its lowest approval in 35 years. Bitterness, hatred, vandalism attracts only narcissists. Story 18 Anything that reduces his influence is fine with me. His money is all tied up in the value of the companies he owns. The more money they lose, the less he has. I say run his finances into the ground. Story 19 What are you going to do to the world's richest man, Daddy? I saw someone say something mean about you online. It's okay, sweetie, just go take a nap. I just refilled your pillow with fresh $100 bills. Story 20 People dedicated to ruining a targeted person's life. Sad, pathetic, petty. Over all giant waste of anyone's time. People have gone nuts over different political views, and it's come down to outright ruining people's lives over sad. Story 21. I think if there's one thing the left wing of this country are doing wrong, it's that they're almost entirely reactive. By contrast, a lot of the right wing are single-issue voters about X. Where X is, say, abortion or gun control, it makes it really easy for a Republican to hone in their messaging and raise funds. Their liberal opponents have to face constantly moving goalposts on issues that seemingly come and go in terms of whatever the hot-button issue is. If you had smaller contingencies of people that pushed for single-issue items, I think a lot more would get done in terms of progressing this country. So to that end, how do I think an anti-Elon group specifically would fare? Well, it's a single issue, so it's at least got that going for it, but it's still reactionary. Rather than going after Elon specifically, a more successful group would be for advocating some form of guardrails to our democracy, starting with low-hanging fruit like getting vote by mail or making Election Day a national holiday, for example, moving down the line with things like ranked choice voting. Story 22. I love how these things are triggering the mentally insane, and those foolish enough to do this on camera. An object is making y'all cry like little. I will laugh when these guys damaging vehicles are arrested. I will laugh when it's discovered that most of the Cybertrucks damaged are owned by a Democrat. I will laugh at the ends justifying the means rationalization. Keep up the protests. Keep encouraging this. It is working, don't you see it? Items can be replaced, the anger, anxiety, and depression y'all were daily, ruining your lives, those days being unhappy cannot be replaced. That is my true enjoyment, knowing that this is all you have. A sad existence of life. You are my source of entertainment. Thank you for the show. Story 23. There's already a movement dedicated to ruining Elmo's life. It's led by him since last year and only has one member, but it's doing extremely well. He's managed to destroy his reputation amongst his main customer base and clear up any doubt whether he's a technical genius or a narcissistic ketamine-addled Nepo baby who got lucky with his investments of inherited wealth. Story 24. They are nothing but bully tyrants who deserve what all tyrants deserve. Imagine if these were abortion clinics and the cars are cars driven by the workers of the clinic. That would be some good times. Story 25. A small number of people boycott a multi-billion-dollar operation will have little to no effect on anything really, but a world of pissed-off investors who disapprove of Nazi salutes and the systematic destruction of our democracy is taking a major toll on. Story 26. I'm surprised Reddit openly allows a post about trying to ruin someone's life. Doesn't this go against harassment or something? The OL tolerant left at work. You people are miserable, jealous, little whiny lovers. Story 27. You are in the minority. Optimism for this country is highest it's been in over 20 years. But don't trust me, this is per an NBC poll. You should seek help for your issues. Story 28. News flash. He's the richest person in the world. He couldn't give less of about anyone's opinions. P.S. You sound incredibly petty and sad for even floating an idea like this. Story 29. To the extent it was successful, the government would push back pretty strongly, and I'd argue that they should. Imagine a grassroots political movement dedicated solely to ruining Dr. Fauci's life. Would it be your position that the people should be allowed to do whatever they could think of to make him miserable, posting real-time information of his whereabouts, picketing his residence, throwing eggs or whatever at his vehicle when it's seen in public, following him into restaurants and yelling murderer at him, harassing his family members at their jobs, or in public? Personally, I feel like Dr. Fauci should receive another Medal of Freedom, and I'd be pretty happy if grounds could be found to have Musk deported for overstaying his student visa or, frankly, whatever legal means could be ginned up. But for a self-styled militia to dedicate their lives to hunting down a person is a precedent that I think is deeply, deeply dangerous. Story 30. Elon. But a political movement that focuses solely on one person doesn't sound like it's really to be taken seriously. He's doing a pretty good job on his own, but I wouldn't mind seeing his businesses crash and burn. Turnabout is fair play. Story 31. Boy, next time Dems get in power, if they ever do, based on comments, I hope Republicans take the same attitude towards the Pelosi's, Schumer's, Newsom's, Feinstein's, Schiff's, Biden's, et al. Just remember, two parties can play your warped attitudes. Story 32. You'd probably get more accurate responses if you asked on a platform that wasn't regularly astroturfed by Democrat volunteers and bots. Story 33. Honestly, I really want to see those who are the checks and balances to speak out about how Doge evaded any and all proper protocols, nearly 2 months in. Furthermore, do any of them within this ragtag group have any security clearance whatsoever? It's a total show that this has been allowed to go on. Yet EM ain't the only problem with the current regime, Air administration. Story 34. Forget Tesla. Target Starlink. That's his best long play. SpaceX will take care of itself once he murders his first batch of cosmonauts. Story 35. Oh, this isn't banned, but any mention of Luigi is, first off, becoming a billionaire by pure skill and talent alone, is a very carefully curated lie, and the laminated face is the most egregious weird liar of all. How the is America taking this? Story 36. There's already a grassroots political movement dedicated to ruining Elon Musk. He seems to be quite capable of that himself. His idiocy keeps spurring action against his interests. So far he has cost himself about $130 billion in stock losses, etc., and he has quite a fan following, though I don't think I would exactly call them fans. Remember, he doesn't actually have a Secret Service detail. His people are deputized by the Secret Service. Big diffy. I wish people would remember 98 of people diving Teslas bought them for the right reasons. Not Elon or Trump, the wankpans are being accepted. Story 37, I expect moderate chances of success, but only in his case in particular, because he's hyper-leveraged with billions of dollars in loans with his Tesla stock as collateral. If the stock starts declining too much, he has to put up more collateral that he doesn't have. If he sells the Tesla stock, the price declines and he gets margin called because his collateral has decreased in value. Basically, I think he's financially, and it won't take much to tip him over the edge. Story 38, bringing back say less right meow. All I needed was ruin Elon and I was in. Isn't that happening already? Seems to be very successful. Add to it to make sure we get his wealth to zero. Story 39, I'm surprised he doesn't get throttled on sight by any American that sees him in public. To be honest, half of this country are so deluded they call themselves patriots while praising insurrection though, so I guess it's not all that surprising. Elon is a lifelong spoiled rich kid that is so mediocre at everything the only way he could succeed was to be a fraud conman. Any attempt to ruin his life would be arbitrary. He's probably tortured knowing the truth about himself while spending his entire life trying to convince the world he's some brilliant visionary. His life almost certainly sucks already. Story 40, seriously, these people are fucking dumb AF. They're already up people's cars because the guy owns a majority stock in it. Some of these people not rich have spent decent money to buy these cars, and it's either you sell them or we will destroy them. What's next? The CEO of insert food drink brand name is in, so you'll destroy their displays in stores. Get off the Elon hate train, Brody. Listen, I don't like him either, but the best thing to do is to rally Democrats to get there together and actually appeal to a broader audience instead of the same old approach of being spineless and catering to the small group of people being offended at everything. Find common ground with the average Joe. Story 41, it's funny that Democrats are good at one thing and one thing only. Cancel culture, and this post and the media blitz against Elon are just all proof that cancel culture is alive and well, and that's all the Dems have to offer. Weaponize the justice system, weaponize the media, cancel them. Look at this and anything else being posted on Reddit nowadays. Have you seen anyone offer any solutions, even just one solution, anything, anywhere? I just see people who are focused on attacking something. Attacking the system, attacking the rich, attacking corporations, attacking men, attacking white people aka oppressors, attacking TERFs, attacking law enforcement, attacking Elon, attacking CEOs, attacking anyone who disagrees, blame, 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 blame. Let's take a look at the recent Southern CA fires. Black female mayor blames the white female lesbian fire chief. Embarrassing. Story 42, terrible. This got us here to begin with. Don't get me wrong, I hate him as much as anyone else, but a whole political movement fueled by hatred just to ruin someone's life. Man, that almost sounds like them. Story 43, still wonder why you lost the election. You shouldn't. It's stuff like this, and calling everyone else a Nazi, and your virtue signaling. We love when you just keep doing the same. Story 44, leftists really are just bots awaiting instructions. Nothing Democrats do is grassroots. The last 3 elections have proven that. All 3 last candidates were establishment plants. Story 45, all I'm going to say is my MAGA father and family members all talked on Musk like 3 years ago. Now, it's for some reason the second coming of Christ. It makes absolutely no sense. Story 46, and while activists scream for the Goldstein 2 minutes of hate, Trump and his gang will slip in the side door and capture 10 million young voters for MAGA. Story 47, Elon Musk is a distraction to the real damage occurring behind the scenes. Any grassroots political movement now should be focused on Trump's abuse of the Constitution and the office of president. Story 48, it'd certainly have higher odds of ruining the lives of those involved than impacting Elon in the slightest. But we've become a country full of simple people. Good luck to you. Story 49, this seems entirely pointless. Start an actual grassroots political movement that speaks to things regular people care about, and it will ruin Musk anyway. Story 50, please find a way to make your own life better and stop risking prison time by doing ineffectual things suggested by Reddit. No one is worth the legal trouble. Also, you're a fool if you think Reddit isn't watched by the feds now. Story 51, well, he could certainly be hurt economically, no question about it. The public has more power than they think at times, but ruin his life. No, that will not happen. Story 52, don't buy a Tesla and encourage everybody else not to. And stop using Twitter. If enough people did that, money would do all the talking. There's bigger problems Trump than to obsess over just Elon, and fixating on Elon doesn't fix the Trump issues. Story 53, I don't know. They seem to have done well, multiple police deaths, and even the AG is complaining about the current movement against them. You don't have that happen unless they are working. Story 54, the cool thing is you can ruin Elon Musk's life simply by making positive consumer choices, e.g., sell your Tesla and boycott various products which improve the world and also depress his net worth, and in turn help stop him from shutting down agencies that save millions of innocent people's lives every year. In this sense, such a movement can be a win-win. There's no reason to get hostile or negative. We have the power to do tremendous good in the world simply by making proactive buying decisions.